Well, in his final speech last week, Barack Obama conceded America remains divided by race. A sobering legacy for a man whose election as the country's first black president was hailed as the dawn of a post-racial era. Obama leaves office with racial tension rising and black Americans again taking to the streets in marches that recall the civil rights struggles of the 1960s. For some African Americans, just his presence is enough. For others, Obama has been a bitter disappointment. North America correspondent Stephanie March reports.
Okay, Matt, mute the TV for a second.
The Chapman household is an Obama household.
Well, guys, it's 8 years later.
4 generations are gathering for a meal.
I mean, wow.
And to celebrate America's first black president.
I think Barack Obama's presidency has made my family stronger, made me stronger as an individual, and it's just lasting. I think it'll be everlasting.
When 730 first met the Chapman family on Election Day in 2008, they were ecstatic. Back then, when Laverne took her nephew Matthew to the polling station, he was 12 years old. Now he's 21 and studying aerospace engineering.
She told me that day when Obama got elected that I can do whatever I want if I put my mind to it, and I really believe that now.
I, Barack Hussein Obama, do solemnly swear.
There was this immense feeling that somehow the United States had finally managed to transcend this heavy historical burden of racism. Electing an African-American president of the United States felt like we had finally turned a corner.
On this day, we come to proclaim an end to the petty grievances and false promises, the recriminations and worn-out dogmas that for far too long have strangled our politics.
The lead-up to the 2012 election gave new momentum to the so-called birther movement. One of its loudest voices was a brash reality TV star named Donald Trump.
I want him to show his birth certificate. I want him to show his birth certificate. There's something on that birth certificate that he doesn't like.
Oh, my God.
I think the birther movement is a kind of closet racism. It's sort of built on the assumption that someone like Obama, you know, an African-American left-winger somehow cannot be American.
No one is happier, no one is prouder to put this birth certificate matter to rest than the Donald. And that's because he can finally get back to focusing on the issues that matter. Like, did we fake the moon landing? What really happened in Roswell? And where are Biggie and Tupac?
As Obama's second term unfolded, it became impossible for him to avoid talking seriously about race.
What do we want? Justice! What do we want?
The many killings of black Americans by police put the United States' racial divide firmly into the spotlight.
These are not isolated incidents. They're symptomatic of a broader set of racial disparities that exist in our criminal justice system.
Obama's supporters say he did more than just acknowledge racial inequality. He ushered in criminal justice reform that helped minorities.
Those days after my wife.
But for some, it wasn't enough. Chuck Linton voted for Obama in 2012. Last year, he voted for Donald Trump.
Well, we had a lot of hope on this guy. We actually wanted this, we wanted him to do good. So, you know, hope was good. But when you live in an urban city, you can't eat it. You really can't do very much with hope, but sit and wait and become poor and poorer.
In Chuck Linton's home city of Baltimore, 28% of African Americans live below the poverty line.
Donald Trump said in one of his speeches to the African American community, "What have you got to lose?"
Yeah.
How did you feel when he said that?
Wonderful. You look at where we are. You look at our unemployment rate. You look at our poverty rate. You look at our health issues. You look at our children. You look at our education system. And if it's going down, and you look at the prison system, and there's more black people in prison, you look at all these things that are so not doing us good, not doing good for us. You know, it's a great question. He's right.
As the bitter quest to elect his successor played out, Barack Obama's popularity soared. He and his wife threw their star power behind Hillary Clinton and set out to warn voters about Donald Trump.
Don't let anyone ever tell you that this country isn't great, that somehow we need to make it great again, because this right now is the greatest country on earth.
So this year, in this election, I'm asking you to join me to reject cynicism and reject fear and to summon what is best in us.
But it wasn't to be. Obama's policy legacy may be in jeopardy with Donald Trump in the White House, but his symbolic one remains. From the 106-year-old lady who couldn't contain her joy at meeting the first black president.
You want to say hi to Michelle? Yes! Slow down now.
To the little boy who wanted to know if Obama's hair was the same as his. For many African Americans, this first family is and always will be an inspiration.
This man had integrity. This man was authentic. This man really espoused family values. Na, 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 na. Hey.